The stories tell of a golden age long ago, when our civilization spanned the system. It was a bright and hopeful time, but it didn't last.
Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Destiny Basics episode. Now in this series, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know to get you started in the Destiny universe. From choosing your class and taking your first steps, to understanding the difference between the various factions and all that awesome gear they sell. For Destiny veterans out there, most of this will be ingrained in your mind by now, but you never know, you might still learn a thing or two. And if you're new to the world of Destiny, then fear not, soon it'll all make sense. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about leveling, the difference between XP and light, and the fastest way to get to that all-important max level. First up, before I go any further, I need to explain how leveling works in Destiny. See, it's not like your everyday run-of-the-mill RPG where you grind XP to get to your max level. In Destiny, that's only half the journey. There are two ways to level in Destiny. Firstly, through XP, and then through a concept known as light. XP leveling is exactly what you think it is. You begin your journey as a level 1 Guardian, you work your way through various story missions, killing everything that stands in your way, earning XP for your troubles, and upon completing the mission, you receive bonus XP. This goes towards your next level, and you repeat the cycle until you hit the cap. As you level up, you unlock new nodes in your skill tree, and this gives you new abilities. However, it's worth noting that you'll hit your XP level cap before you max this out, and after that, you can continue earning XP towards the remaining talents, but your base level will remain the same. So, first up, what is your base level? The answer to that is 20. In Destiny, levels 1 through 20 are earned through good old-fashioned XP grinding. Now you can earn XP in a number of different ways, and I'll cover that shortly, but for the time being, know that once you hit level 20, that's the end of conventional leveling as you know it. Now, we move on to leveling with what's known as light. Light leveling is different, as depending on your gear, your level can go both up and down. See, the way this works is if you look at a piece of level 20 armor, typically it'll have an extra stat alongside those intellect, strength and discipline values. This stat is known as light. Rare or blue armor pieces typically have lower light values, then legendary or purple gear has considerably more, and raid gear and exotics have the highest light values, and it's that which you'll need to hit max rank, but again I'll go over that in just a moment. By equipping a piece of armor with light on it, you'll notice that the yellow bar on your player card increases. This is the progress to your next light level. If you then equip enough gear to rank up, you'll notice that on the left, my physical level cap remains the same, level 20, but on the right, my light level is reflected by the yellow number. If I then remove a piece of armor, I can then drop down a level. Now you begin to understand what I mean when I said your levels can go both up and down. If you hover over the yellow number, it'll tell you exactly how much light you have. And if you want to know what you need to work towards, here are the required values for the various light levels. You will see that at the lowest level, to reach level 21, we need a mere 20 light. But to reach the current max, which is level 32, you need a total of 144 light. That's a total of 4 pieces of gear, each with 36 light on them. And it's using this method that Bungie are able to tweak the level caps more easily. You see, when a new expansion comes out, if they want to raise the level cap, they merely raise the light cap and offer you gear with higher light stats. You then earn all of that gear and once again reach the max point. So, with all of that in mind, now let's talk leveling, or more importantly, the quickest way you can get from A to B, or 1 to 32, however you want to say it. The first thing we're going to need to do, before we even think about gear, is hit that level 20 XP cap. So, at the beginning, your only option is to do story missions, until you hit level 4. Now when selecting missions, you will notice there is an option to change the difficulty, and completing missions on a harder difficulty will yield more XP. But, believe it or not, a lot of the time it's not worth it. Sure, if you happen to be the same level as the harder version, do it. But if you're not, just do it on normal. We are going for speed here, so do whatever is quickest for you. Once you hit level 4, the option to obtain bounties opens up. If you return to the tower and talk to our good old friend Xander, he will offer you bounties. Now bounties come in 2 main forms. There are actually more than 2, but they are tied to events and I'll come to that in a separate video, but for the time being, these are all you need to worry about. You have Vanguard bounties and Crucible bounties. Vanguard bounties are PvE related. They're tied to stuff you do in the open world. killing enemies, landing precision kills, completing certain missions, etc. While Crucible bounties are tied to PvP activities, i.e. shooting other Guardians in the arena. These can be a little more tricky and can be a bit time consuming, but they do still have their uses. For the time being, however, you want to focus on Vanguard bounties. Our main aim right now is just to complete all of the story missions in conjunction with the bounties, then once we finish that, we'll work out what to do next. So, once you're level 4, grab as many Vanguard bounties as you can, and return to your story missions. You now want to work your way through the campaign as quickly as possible, so again, ignore those hard options if it proves too challenging, but make sure wherever possible you're completing bounties at the same time. For example, some bounties will say have you land precision kills or consecutive melee kills. Either way, whatever they are, factor these into your missions. Every time you complete a bounty, once you finish a mission, return to the tower and hand it in. So, assuming you do all of that, by the time you complete the final story mission, you should be somewhere in the realms of level 16 to level 18. At this point, we have a few options. If you're not quite level 18, I'd suggest picking up those Crucible bounties and playing a few rounds to complete them. You can generally ignore the more difficult ones like going on sprees or landing melee kills, etc. Just focus on the ones that are like kill 25 warlocks or land X number of headshots. Again, the idea is to factor these into your playtime and not have them cause you to deviate from the path. Alongside that, Crucible does give some pretty good XP anyway, so assuming you combine these two, then it should help bridge the gap. You may even find you hit level 20 this way. If so, awesome. If not, then I suggest taking part in strike missions using the strike playlist. The strike playlist is an option you'll find on the map where it will have you replay strike missions at higher levels. The first one, Strike Eagle, is level 18. Now the reason these are good is because not only are you getting XP along the way, but you are also earning Vanguard reputation and Vanguard mocks, which will be extremely important in your quest for legendary gear. So, once you've done all of the above, you should now be level 20. You've now hit your XP level cap. Now, we need to start leveling using light. So, as I previously explained, in order to do this, you need to obtain gear that has light on it. If you've been doing those strikes in the strike playlist, you may have even already picked up a few pieces of rare gear with enough light to boost you up a couple of levels. But if not, don't worry. See, the other reason you did strike playlists is because you were earning mocks, Vanguard mocks, and those are used to purchase legendary gear from the vendor. In the tower, down in the main war room, are your respective class vendors. Speak to them and you'll see that all of the purple gear, the legendary gear, have 33 light per piece. This will obviously change with future expansions, but for the time being, this will get you to level 31. In order to buy this, you need to be Vanguard rank 2. That requires a total of 2,000 reputation points. Thanks to all those bounties you completed and the strikes you've been doing along the way, you should either be there or be very close. Once you hit rank 2, you want to begin buying armor pieces. There is, however, one more thing you need to know. See, in addition to Vanguard marks, there's a new currency item known as Vanguard commendations. These are earned from Vanguard packages which you receive every time you rank your Vanguard reputation up to a new level starting at level 3. 2 of the armor pieces require commendations, the helmet and the chest, whereas the other 2 pieces you can buy outright. So, using what marks you have, buy whatever pieces you can and equip them. By now, your light level should be a little bit higher. If you are in need of more marks, then you can go back and complete more strike playlists. And if you've leveled up thanks to your armor, then you can take on the higher level strike playlists. They yield more marks and the rewards are better. You might even snag yourself a free legendary piece of gear which saves you from buying it. Do note, however, that there is a cap of 200 Vanguard marks per week. Once you hit that, you'll need to wait until Tuesday, the weekly reset, before it refreshes and you can start earning them all over again. If you hit your cap and you only have, say, 2 pieces, then you can also buy armor from the Crucible vendor, so you can similarly begin building reputation with him. There is also another option. See, instead of saving to buy 4 pieces of armor, you can instead wear 3 and an exotic. Exotics have a light stat of 36, and this will help you get a little bit closer to that final light level cap. See, in order to hit the cap, you either need 4 pieces of raid gear, or 3 pieces and an exotic. Now exotics are either earned randomly from Nightfall strikes, which are the level 30 weekly strikes you'll find on the side of your screen. Alternatively, there's an NPC known as Zur, Agent of the Nine, who comes to the tower every Friday and stays till Sunday morning, that's GMT. He sells exotic gear and weapons every week in exchange for a currency known as Strange Coins. Strange Coins can be earned by completing weekly heroics and also by decoding engrams, and if you have enough, then you can purchase an item from him. You need 13 Strange Coins for a piece of armor. So, assuming you've done all of that, you should now either be clad in 4 pieces of legendary gear, or 3 and an exotic. Now you simply need to level them up. Just like when you earned XP, completing bounties, missions, strikes, and crucible matches will earn you XP, and that goes towards leveling up your gear. Handing in bounties is by far the most effective and quickest way to level up gear and weapons, so again, make them a big part of everything you do. Armour upgrades will cost glimmer and materials which you find around the world, or you can buy them from Vanguard or Crucible vendors. Once you get to the final column of upgrades, you will also need Ascendant Shards. Now these can be earned through completing daily quests, participating in public events, dismantling legendary gear you don't need, and also in the Vault of Glass, Destiny's very first raid. Once you have enough, max out your upgrades and you should be one level below the level cap. Right now, that's level 31, but if you're watching this in the future, that may be level 33, 43, who knows. Either way, this gear will place you just below where you need to be. The last leg is done through raiding, and this is where your progress is slowed, and arguably out of your hands. See, in the raid, by completing certain segments, you'll be awarded armour and weapons, but you have no control. This is completely down to the random number game, or RNGesus as we like to call it. And just like the Nightfalls and Heroics, you can only get rewards from a raid once a week. Once you've completed it, you have to wait till the Tuesday reset to try again. So if you complete the raid the first time and you don't get any armour pieces, then that's an entire week where you're stuck at the same level. There is a way to improve your chances, but it requires a little more time investment. See, a lot of players have 3 characters, but not how you might think. Notice how all of mine are hunters, 1 level 32 and 2 30s. This is so that I can run the raid 3 times a week as a hunter, which means all of my drops are relevant to my main character. Whereas if you have 3 different characters, then you have 3 different types of armour that you need to acquire. I can then simply use my vault to move my gear around between my 3 different characters, and I can turn my 30s into 32s in an instant. So, fast forward again to the point where you've got all your raid gear, then just like before, once you have a full set, you level it up, and you then hit level 32, or whatever the respective level cap is at the time. Now I appreciate there was a hell of a lot of information there, but that's because there's a lot to know about leveling in Destiny. So, hopefully it made sense, hopefully you found it helpful, and if you did, leave a like and show that thumbs up button some love, and if you aren't already part of the Arekkz Gaming Nation, then be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single video. There's more to come in my Destiny Basics series, so stay tuned for more, and if you missed the first video, then there's a complete overview of Destiny's classes and subclasses, so check that out if you've yet to get started. Thanks again for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.